Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to share with you another Entrypoint Insight. Entrypoint Insight, it's not an opinion, but it's just you can think of Entrypoint Insight of these glasses that when you put them on, you see the reality in a little bit different way, and that can give you more information than without the glasses. And to find out more about this system of Entrypoint glasses, check out the video down here, and let's get on to today's topic. I gotta tell you that everything that all the insights that I say here, I always tell them to my friends to see if it is really an insight or something to think about. And when I told this to my mom, she told me not to say publicly, because somehow she feels that if you say something about Russians or Ukrainians, that you might have problems with the police. But I will say it anyway, because I don't think it's nothing bad. In fact, I think it's very interesting, and it is something that ties well with my last Entrypoint Insight about languages. So let's get on to this insight. So the reason I'm actually starting to let me first actually talk about the first insight. So there I was saying that language is not only, it's a sound that you make to convey piece of, well, you convey information. And information has various structures. The first level is that you're trying to tell an information, but so it's just the data. But then another level is how you wrap the information. That's what the words you use. We were talking about accents. So all of this, because we are social species, you tell something to the people around you, sometimes knowingly, sometimes not knowingly. So let's get to Russians and Ukrainian citizens in European Union. I noticed not only in the Czech Republic, but across all the cities I had a chance to travel the past month. So I noticed one thing. Now I will now talk about downtown Prague, but it's the same, I think, in all major cities. And just so you know, everything I'm going to tell you, I also checked it with various bartenders and bar owners, because they run into tourists and also refugees a lot. So I noticed one thing, and that is when people speak, some people speak louder than others, and some people speak so loud that it's almost not appropriate. Now in the evenings, when some of the tourists, I would say a lot of tourists from Britain, when they get drunk in downtown Prague, they are very loud. They are so loud that you're thinking to yourself, can't you think about the other people who are trying to sleep, for example, here, right? But okay, they're drunk, whatever. Now, the two groups I want to concentrate on today are the Russians and the Ukrainians. Now, when I hear Russian or Ukrainian languages, at the first second, I cannot tell which one's which, usually, but in 20 seconds I can tell, because when I was in elementary school, I took Russian. So I noticed one thing, that as I said, across Europe, I run into a lot of Russians and a lot of Ukrainians, and now it doesn't even matter which is which, because what I'm going to be telling you, the Entrypoint glasses, it applies to both groups. So what I was really surprised about, how loud, from a sound point of view, how loud these two groups are. How they scream and yell, how they speak very, very loud, and even the way they act, they are like running around, jumping. I just had this experience today. There were these I don't know, teenagers who were either Russians or Ukrainians, and they were jumping around, running, screaming, and the ordinary people were just calmly walking around, and these people are just running around and yelling in Russian or Ukrainian. Now, it doesn't matter which language it was, because what I was surprised about, going back to what you are trying to tell with your language, is that I think that if I were a Russian or a Ukrainian in any European city, I would be quiet, or I would I would turn down my aliveness, just like as when the other day we were talking about turning down the British accent when they speak English. So I think that they should turn it down, and let me tell you why. Because if I were a Ukrainian citizen in the Czech Republic, I would know that everyone who sees me thinks of two things of me. One, that I ran away from war because I fled the country because I was scared for my life. And to that I'm saying, yes, come here. Here we have peace. Our economy is still pretty good. We can take you, and we can stay here, take shelter. We'll try to give you as much as we can, and wait here till it passes over. So that's one person. So one person who's running away from fear. And then there's the other person who's who doesn't want to fight, who doesn't want to help the local Ukrainians, right? So if I were in the Czech Republic and I was a Ukrainian, and of course there exists other reasons for being here, but what I just mentioned, these are the main groups. Now, if someone is running around here, ignoring all of the customs we have here, if someone is like yelling that it interrupts people and it's it's weird, then it doesn't put you in a good light. Because then I'm thinking to myself, holy smoke, so you knocked on my door saying, outside it's really bad, could you let me in? I said, yeah, come on in. And then instead of having a quiet evening, you are having a discotheque in my living room. So that's one thing I'm surprised. So that's towards the Ukrainians. But again, as I said, the language difference, usually when I pass to people or hear them, I don't have time to listen. I don't even care if they're Ukrainians or Russians. So when I hear a Russian person, or if I were a Russian person in the Czech Republic, well then I would know, and anywhere in Europe, I would know that I am in a land where I could run on average, or statistically, it can happen to me when someone hears me speak Russian, that they will get up and they will start, yelling at me, or they will try to pick a fight because they just hate Russians. Because from their point of view, what they did, it's terrible, and Russian people in the Czech Republic they shouldn't be here. They should be somewhere else. Or if they are here, they should be against what Russia is doing in Ukraine. But if I know that I am somewhere where when they hear me speak Russian, that, you know, I can take a punch from someone or get into a very uncomfortable situation, I am surprised how loud and how, you know, how they run around and how they're like everyone has to pay attention to them, because it's just like the acting is not normal. So I would also expect that they would be more calm, or they would even not speak Russian, because they would be afraid that if someone knows that they're Russian, that they will kick them out of the restaurant or you know, be really not nice to them. So this is what I was surprised about. And you know, I asked first, as I said, a few bartenders around. They confirmed that this is actually the case, even though one said that he noticed that the Russians are a little bit more toned down. But it's a very interesting thing, and I was asking people around, you know, why they thought this was happening. Like maybe, like if it were just few people, then I would say that these people are what do you call it? EQ emotional EQ retards, because they don't understand where they are. But because it's so many of them across all of Europe, then I think it's some kind of trait. For example, my dad thinks that it's a psychological thing, because they don't know what's going to be happening, right? As much as we don't know what's going to be happening until when it's over, regardless how it ends. But when it's over, it will change everything for everyone. And I think that the closer you are to the conflict, and Ukrainians and Russians are the closest, then you know, one of my dad thinks that because it's, you know, your future is so unpredictable, that this is somehow a way of getting out the tension. Yeah, so that's the insight about language. That it's not about the content, the information, but it's also all the stuff that we wrap around it. The accent, the speed, the sound, how it relates to where I'm located. And it tells so much about the others, but it's also important to be aware of this. And again, what I just said, these are just entry point glasses to give you more information from the reality. So take care and see you in the next ENTRYPOINT Insight.